Welcome in the second part of our top-down shooter game tutorial. In today's episode we will focus on movement and rotation of our character. So let's go to the edit, project settings, and go to input manager and check your horizontal and vertical axis. If you have here S, W for positive, negative, and AD for positive, negative. That will allow us to move with W, A, S, D keys. So I think it will be the best for our steering. So now, when we check that, go to your player object and add Rigidbody 2D. This will add physics to our player component. One important thing before we start coding, just change gravity scale to 0. If we don't do that, I will show you what will happen. Just press play and you will see what happened. Our player dropped as for the gravity, how it works. Okay, so let's put 0 here and now it will not fall down anymore. Okay, so now as I promised, we start coding today. So first what we need to do is create C# script. Let's call it player controller. And let's open Visual Studio. Okay, what you can see here, the start. You have like loops here. This will be the start. Will be called when the object is created. So it will be called once per instantiation of the object, and void update is called every frame. So it depends on your computer, how fast is your computer. For example, if you have 60 frames per second in a game, so that function will be called 60 times per second. So if we would create our movement inside the update function, we would have like it would depend, the speed of the movement would depend on how fast your computer is, and we don't want to do that. So for that we want to use void fixed update method, and inside that method this method is refreshed with the equal period of time, so you will not have any faster or slower faster or slower movement. Sorry, the movement speed will not depend on how fast your computer is. Okay, so let's get started. What we will need to do, what we want to do, we want to move our character, and we want to rotate to mouse position. That will be our two main functions we'll create today. So let's start from the movement. It will be much easier. Public void, and let's create function move. Oh, sorry, function move. Okay, now we want to move our object, and to do that we need to call our object move. Something went wrong here. Move. We want to call our Rigidbody component for our movement. So to do that, first we need to make a variable called Rigidbody 2D, and to call it directly, the one we have attached here, as you remember from a few minutes ago. To do that, we need to write a function get component Rigidbody today. With that function we will catch the first rigid body we will find our component on which script is attached to. So if we have that script attached on our player, it will catch first rigid body that it will find on our player. So now when we can call rigid body, let's write code for our move. And our move will be rigid body 2D move position. And now we want this rigid body position, so the position of our player, position, to be moved with the direction. We'll create that function in a moment. The move direction will be moved depending on which axis you press. So as we will be using WASD keys, it will be moving according to the axis we currently press. Okay, and we want also to be able to change speed of our player, so we'll write move speed here, and also we multiply everything by time dot fix delta time. Time fix delta time is just to be sure that it's moved every with equal periods of time. Okay, so now we need to create move speed. Let's do public variable, so we'll be able to change it from our Unity window. Public float of speed. Let's define it like 2.0f. Okay, and move direction will create vector2. Okay, to be able to check the axis, the player will press the axis depending on what he sees on the screen. So best for our input to catch is the axis when we update the frames, the visuals. So let's catch move direction from update. And move direction x because it's vector2, so it has like x and y variable. So we could, so the variables we just catch is something like that. Okay, oh sorry, x, okay, maybe let's write like that. And here x and y. Okay, so we need to have x and y position, not position, the axis value, So when you press like W, we'll have 1. For S, we'll have -1. And same is for A and D. So if we do something like, if we write the script like that, move dir x, so we'll be holding the x value here, and our x will be input point get sorry, not point dot, get axis. I want to get axis row. If we could use get axis, but after finishing movement you would see like a slip behind the player. I want to move by a row movement, so let's do it that way. You can check how it works without adding the row here. Okay, horizontal. So now, depending if we press W or X, W or S, our value for X would be 1 or would be -1. Okay, so I think it's clear enough for everybody. So let's catch a Y value. Get X row, and let's do vertical. Okay. So now everything should work fine. We can test it. Just press Ctrl S and go to play. Doesn't exist in current context. Move. Sorry. Move here. Now should be fine. Okay. Editor refreshed. And we need to add our script, of course. We didn't add our script, so we can just hold and drag it to the window of our player. Okay. Here we have move speed. As we were talking before, if we put the public name, we can then edit the variable from the editor. So that's what is shown here. So let's test. If we press W, S and D, our movement is our player is moving correctly. So it's perfect. It's what we wanted to achieve. If we increase our move speed value, you will see how fast it moves. Okay, fine, nice. That's perfect. So our movement is working. Now we need to work a little bit on rotation. We want our player to be rotating where the position of our mouse is. So let's create function public void, of course, rotate. I have it copied, so there is no sense in writing it. Okay, rotate to move position. One thing I didn't explain. This is what type of your function. This is the type of your function. If it's public or private. If it's public, you can call it from other script. If you make a reference to the script, rotate, similar like we did with the we want to have our mouse position. So best way would be to catch again the value. So our we didn't define any value. So again, let's define vector to mouse position, and our mouse position will be camera. It's what camera.main. We always have main camera in our scene. It's what is rendered on the screen. Then on the screen to word point. That way, we call the function that will change the position to what we can see on the screen. I don't know how to explain it in an easy way, so now you have to believe me. Mouse position. Okay. I chose the wrong screen to world point, if I remember correctly. Screen to world point, yeah, it should work fine. Okay, now to rotate to our mouse position, because we just have position in X and Y dimension. So to rotate to that position, we need to make some calculation. It's simple calculation, because just let's create variable here which will hold our result of calculation. So direction to mouse position would be our mouse position on the screen. This is the point where the mouse is currently on the screen. So mouse pose should be minus Rigidbody dot position. Okay. Always, if you're looking for the direction for some point, we need to, for example, if we have A and B points, and we want direction, just automatic fill A to B, if you want to have it like that, then we need to take the B position, put the minus, and then we place the A position. Okay, so to get the direction from A to B, we need to take B minus A. Okay, this is how the vectors work. Okay, so we have direction to our mouse position, but we want to rotate our player to the position we just calculated. So to rotate our player to that position, we need to use this. Sorry, we can use without this. This will make this will be unclear for new coders, I think. So let's make transform dot up. Transform dot up is the vector we're speaking in our first part. We were talking about on our first part. This is the vector. If we choose the player, where is our vector? We are in the game, and the scene editor, you can see it here. This is vector up. That's why we need to rotate our graphic by the 90 in z direction. Okay. Now it will be that way. It will be rotated correctly after our mouse position. Okay. So transform up. This transform we want to rotate together with our body after our mouse. So rotate to our mouse. Sorry. So transform up will be our new vector 2. New vector 2. And for the position X, we put direction to mouse pose. And for the X, we put direction to mouse pose Y. Sorry, and here we need to put X. Okay. And now everything should work fine. Let's test it. And let's see how it works. Now it rotates perfectly. So as you can see here, you can move, and our player is rotating after our mouse. For the mouse, we'll change our icon later. So let's now keep the Windows mouse for now, and on the next episode I think we'll get to the shooting part. Okay, so thank you for watching. If you like the video, please put the thumb up and subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much and have a nice day.